some water while
Thank you
we're
very much.
Okay, we're recording, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, so everyone's here.
I'm gonna go grab him a drink of water.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
But, you know,
Thank you
Yeah,
very
well,
much.
I guess just so the record knows, even though this is supposed to be off record, that I've received the notice and subpoena, just so she
Yeah, I
knows.
just,
Do you have the court reporter intro? You need to-
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
wait for her.
Yeah.
Do you mind taking notes?
Yeah, I don't
I just don't have standing and note taking.
That's fine.
Gravy. I mean, like, it's stipulated for him that he's got pictures, but they're not in the book, so.
I always have either like 11 pins in my pocket or none. There's no in between. So this is 2011 for the year over here, but I'm guessing they updated that and just something for you guys.
No,
They
it's
did. I mean, I'm
2000.
just not sure you asked me what the date was.
Yeah, it's 2000. Yeah.
Yes.
Read everything that's in the materials is exactly what we should.
Okay, so it's been that many years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
It was specified in there. All right.
All right, everybody make sure we speak up for the camera. But other than that, we're ready to get rolling.
Am I ready?
Yep.
All right, my name is Logan Mayfield with Mayfield Court Reporters. Our business is located at 3541 Tates Creek Road, Lexington, Kentucky 40517. It's 12:08 p.m. on March 3rd, 2016. We're at the University of Kentucky College of Law in the K Journal room. This is the deposition of Alex Jones. Mr. Jones, will you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, now if the attorneys could just state their name and appearance for the record, we can begin.
My name is Mary Tanner, and I'm with Megafirm LLC, representing ABC Railroad Company.
Eric Eaton for Sam Pardon, the plaintiff, with Jones and McGreedy.
Tara Hutchison with Megafirm LLC, with defendant ABC Railroad Company.
Evan Thompson for the plaintiff, Sam Pardon.
Ben Tuttle for the plaintiff Sam Parton with Jones and McGreedy.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. Just to lay down some basic rules for the deposition, don't forget that you are under oath. This testimony, since it's an evidentiary deposition, will carry the full weight of oath and will be read into the record at trial. Because it's an evidentiary deposition, there will likely be a number of questions from opposing counsel as well as objections we'll each make. Make sure you let us sort that out, and then we'll direct you whether or not to answer. As I'm talking about that, make sure we don't talk over each other. Each person should finish and wait for another person to finish before they begin speaking. Make sure you give audible responses. Aren't that helpful on the record. Make sure to say yes, no, not shaking your head, any of that. If you're confused, if you don't understand a question, please say so, and I'll restate it or help you understand. And if you'd like to take any breaks, feel free to let us know. So if you understand those rules, we can go ahead and begin.
Yes, I do.
Would you please state your full name and spell for the record?
Yes, my name is Alex Jones, ALEXJONES.
And I hate to have to ask this, but we've got to have it on the record. Are you under the influence of any medications or alcohol today?
No, ma'am.
And what is your occupation?
I'm a private investigator.
And who's your employer?
I work for, in this case, I work for ABC Railroad.
Okay, but your actual employment is with Bryan and Associates, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did you receive training in this profession?
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
I took certifications on various classes at the University of North Florida Institute of Police Technology Management.
And how many cases would you say you've worked on by investigating?
In the past 12 years, I've been attached somewhat to about 200 cases, a little over 200 cases.
All right. And on Friday, May 21st of 2011, were you employed with Bryan and Associates as a private investigator?
Yes, I was.
And on that day, what was your assignment?
My assignment that day was to do some surveillance on a Mr. Pardon.
Okay. And is that Mr. Sam Pardon, the plaintiff in this case?
Yes, it is.
And have you ever met Mr. Pardon before or since?
No.
And have you ever interacted with him whatsoever?
No, this is the first time I ever met Mr. Pardon.
All right. And on Friday, May 21st of 2011, what did you observe?
I observed the first day of surveillance referred to May 21st.
Yes.
I arrived at Pardon's house that morning at about 6:30. His residence at 25 Money Lane in Capital City. Determined that Pardon was home. I then observed Pardon walking from his residence into the garage, which was located behind the residence. He entered the garage and he got into his pickup truck.
Would you please describe that pickup truck?
It was a blue and tan pickup truck, license plate number 123JKL.
Okay, so you've seen Mr. Pardon go from his residence to his garage, and what did you do next?
I continued surveillance. Pardon, he departed the area in his vehicle. His actions inside the garage, I didn't see him get into the vehicle at this time. It was obscured by the garage.
And where did he go?
He went to Hardee's first, parking lot located on Williamson Street in Capital City.
And where did he go from Hardee's after that?
After Hardee's, he went to the Capital City Golf Club.
Okay, and what were your observations at the Capital City Golf Club?
Well, for approximately the next 2 hours, I observed Pardon participating in golf. He was golfing.
Okay, how many holes did he golf that day?
He golfed the back nine, holes 10 through 18.
All right, and did you observe him picking up his clubs?
I did.
And did he seem to have any trouble with that activity?
No, it was one rapid fluid motion.
Okay, did you observe him swing his golf clubs?
I did.
And did he seem to have any trouble with that activity?
He did not.
Okay. So you said he golfed the back nine. Did he walk the course?
He did not walk the entire course. I'm sorry, I guess he did walk the entire course.
Okay, so it's your testimony that on Friday, May 21st, he did walk the back nine as he played.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, he did.
And did he carry his golf clubs?
He did.
All right. So, in surveilling Mr. Pardon on that day, did you observe anything that would lead you to believe that Mr. Pardon had an injury?
I did not.
All right. After Mr. Pardon finished golfing the back nine, what did you observe?
He went back to his vehicle and again, what I would describe as one fluid motion, lifted the bag into the back of his pickup truck.
All right. And where did he go from the Capital City Golf Course?
Excuse me. Well, if he went back home, if I'd actually seen this, I think I would remember better. Yeah, he went back to his residence and no further activity was observed.
Okay. And that's when you ceased your observations for that day, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And did you observe him the next day, Saturday, May 22nd of 2011?
I did.
Please describe your observations on that day.
On that day, I again established a surveillance position in the vicinity of his residence. He was not in the area. It was determined that he was not home at this time. This was 7 a.m. that morning.
Okay, and where did you eventually locate Mr. Pardon that day?
We went looking for Mr. Pardon, and on a spot check, we found him at the Capital City Golf Club. We observed his car in the parking lot, so we knew he was there.
And this is the same blue and tan pickup truck you had observed the previous day and knew to be his truck?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was determined that he was inside the clubhouse at that time.
Okay. And what did you observe following that?
Pardon and three unidentified persons were observed on the first tee on the golf course. It seemed that he was involved in a round of 18-hole golf.
Okay, so he was going to golf the entire course that day?
Yes, that day, Pardon, I observed him play 18 continuous holes of golf.
Okay, and did he walk the course that day?
He did.
But he traveled in a golf cart between holes. Is that correct?
Yes, he traveled in a motorized golf cart on day 2.
Okay. But you did observe him on this day pick up clubs,
Yes,
and you did observe him swing clubs to hit the golf ball.
on numerous occasions.
Okay. And did it seem to you that on this day he was in any signs of pain?
None at all.
And what did you observe following the 18 holes of golf?
Following that, he emerged from the clubhouse. He placed his clubs in the bed of the truck without any apparent difficulty, and then he returned to the clubhouse. And then eventually, about 2:49 p.m., he was observed partying the area driving his pickup truck.
And where did he go from there?
He went back to his residence, and no further activity was observed.
All right. And did you continue your observations of Mr. Pardon the next day, Sunday, May 23rd of 2011?
I did.
And what did you observe that day?
Again, I observed him arrive at the Capital City Golf Club. He exited the vehicle in one fluid motion. I arrived at his house that morning, followed him from there to the golf course. It was determined that he was playing golf this day. His actions included golf swings and picking up his golf clubs and balls off the ground.
And how many holes of golf did Mr. Pardon golf that day?
On day 3, he golfed. He was observed with a motorized golf cart. We were not able to determine that day how many holes he played.
Okay. And did you observe Mr. Pardon pick up his clubs on the 3rd day, Sunday, May 23rd?
I did observe him picking up the clubs.
Did you
yes.
see any signs of pain or discomfort?
I did not.
Did you observe Mr. Pardon swing his golf club?
I did.
And did you see any signs of pain or discomfort on that day?
No, I did not. It was in one fluid motion.
All right. And following Mr. Pardon's golf outing, where did you observe him?
At his residence. Well, first in the parking lot where he would put his clubs back into his vehicle.
Okay.
And then he would return to his residence.
Did you memorialize your observations over this 3-day period anywhere?
I did in these notes.
All right. I'd like to show you what has been preliminarily marked as Defense Exhibit A. Feel free to take your time in going through those documents.
Okay, thank you.
And after you finish going through the documents, please identify it for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is, for the record, then, a copy of the prompt that is being introduced that I should have waited for it to be introduced. I apologize. No, this is a good copy of this.
Please speak up and identify what the document is.
Oh, these are my notes for the 3 days of observation.
If you would hand that to the court reporter, I'd like to have this attached to the record as Defense Exhibit A. It's the surveillance record. Did you take any photographs over this 3-day period of observations of Mr. Pardon?
Yes.
I'd like to show you what has been preliminarily marked as Defense Exhibit B.
This is exactly how I remember it in my mind.
And these are photographs that you took of Mr. Pardon over this 3-day period, correct?
Yes, they are.
If you'd hand those to the court reporter, I'd like to have this attached to the record as Defense Exhibit B. So is your surveillance record, Defense Exhibit A, consistent with the testimony you've given today?
Yes, it is.
And are the photographs that you took that have been introduced as Defense Exhibit B consistent with the testimony you've given today?
Yes, they are.
Out of curiosity, have you ever played golf yourself, Mr. Jones?
I have. My stepfather was an avid golfer, played 18 holes a day for a while. And yeah, I've played a lot of golf.
Okay. How heavy would you say golf clubs are?
Set of golf clubs is, depends on the lighter the better and more expensive. They can range anywhere from 125 to over 250 pounds.
Okay, and that's including the bag they're carried in?
Right.
Okay.
That makes a big difference.
Have you ever played golf with an injury?
Golf is hard to play with an injury. In my experience, it's a sport that uses so many muscles and coordination that if you're hurt, you really can't golf. It takes more effort than just swinging.
Do you think someone could play golf well with an injury to their neck, back, and right arm?
Objection,
Yeah,
speculation.
This witness is testifying as to his own knowledge about golf, which he has specified that he's played in the past. Do you think someone could play golf with an injury to their neck, back, and right arm?
That would depend on the significance of the injury. Not with the significant injury. I don't think so.
Okay, would you be able to play golf with musculoskeletal injuries to your neck?
Objection. He's not a medical professional. He's not a...
Calls for personal knowledge.
in his personal, he hasn't said whether or not he has personal knowledge of playing golf, given having the injuries that you suggest he's had.
All right, I will draw. In your experience as a private investigator, have the subjects you've observed over the course of your career feigned injuries for the purpose of a lawsuit?
Yes, I have seen this on numerous occasions.
And would it surprise you, based on your own observations of Mr. Pardon, to learn that he has claimed severe musculoskeletal injuries to his neck, back, and right arm? Would that surprise you?
Given what I've seen over the period of March 21st through the 23rd of 2013, yes. I do not believe someone could perform those fluid motions with a significant injury.
And can we specify that you mean May and not March?
I'm sorry, March. I
May.
apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, May.
Yes, all right. Well, then I'll turn it over to opposing counsel for questions.
Alrighty. My name is Evan
Would you like to
Thompson.
take this
Yeah,
seat
that'd
so
be
you're
great,
good on
actually.
camera?
Yeah, thank you. Alrighty. Mr. Jones, I just have a few questions for you. Some of them might be redundant, but just work with me, please. So you work with Bryan and Associates as a professional investigator?
Yes, sir, I do.
Are you a doctor?
No, sir, I have no medical training.
Are you a physical therapist?
No.
Do you,
Yes, sir.
do you have any specialty regarding how muscles move together?
No.
Have you ever studied in an academic setting which muscles are used when playing golf?
No. I mean, I do know I'd say more than the average person about golf. Just because my stepfather was so into it, kind of pushed me into doing it. But no, I don't have any special qualifications on golf.
Okay. But yet you said that he had, earlier you said that you had no belief that he was injured. Is that correct?
It did not appear to me to be injured.
So no apparent injury?
Yeah.
But yet you have no medical knowledge to be able to tell that, correct?
That's correct. I mean, I'm not a medical doctor.
Okay.
I don't have a medical opinion on whether
Okay.
he's hurt or not. I just know that in my observations, he was in one fluid motion, picking up clubs, placing clubs into his throw bed,
Okay.
going to the golf course, playing 18 straight holes of golf, sometimes walking the entire course.
Yes, you've said that. And so, another question I have is, so as a professional investigator, you spy on people, correct?
I guess, yeah, it could be termed spying.
What reasons are you normally hired to spy on people?
Usually either divorce cases. We do a lot of personal injury, fatality, traffic homicide collisions, wrongful death suits,
Okay.
and cases like this where people are claiming false injuries.
All right, how often?
Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're too hurt, or you just get no evidence at all.
How often are you hired to spy on plaintiffs in lawsuits?
Often.
As a percentage of your practice, how often is that?
I have no knowledge of the upper managerial structure.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm saying you personally.
Oh,
How often, like as a percentage of what you do, how much of it is spying on plaintiffs in lawsuits?
Oh, myself.
Yes.
Probably 40 to 50%.
Okay. How much did you get paid for spying on Mr. Pardon?
I get paid an annual salary, not based on any certain amount of cases, or I get an annual salary of $40,000 a year.
Okay. And so then the way money works, I guess, is the claims adjuster for ABC Railroad Company hires your firm, and is that how that works?
Yes, and we go and make an observation, and sometimes, like I said, sometimes you'll sit in front of a house for 3 or 4 days and see nothing. See them. It's just.
How often have you worked, or have you worked specifically for ABC Railroad Company?
No, I don't think so. I think this is my first case with ABC.
Do you know how often your business works for ABC Railroad Company?
As far as the business as a whole, no, sir. I wouldn't think so.
Is it safe to say that?
I wasn't privy to that information.
Okay. Is it safe to say that the more positive results you get for ABC Railroad, the more likely it would be that you'd get hired again?
Objection calls for speculation.
That's fine. Are you getting paid anything specifically for this deposition today?
No, sir.
Okay, do you receive any extra compensation, like a bonus, for reaching the results you did?
No, sir.
Uh,
Bonuses are attached on extraordinary cases only.
And, okay, so what exactly is an extraordinary case?
Honestly, just, upper ones, but maybe a big client or a continuing client or but that's rare, it's just that way.
Is it performance-based?
No, it's not.
Just for clients that you have worked for as a repeat
Right.
worker? Okay.
I suppose you produce results like in any business, people come back to you, but, no, there is no pressure, financial pressure to reach any certain result.
Did you talk to the adjuster or ABC Railroad before spying on Mr. Pardon?
I did not.
Besides these 3 days, did you spy on Mr. Pardon at all?
I did not.
Other than that, so it's just these 3 days.
Yes.
And let's see here. Were you ever able to spy on him inside of his house, where he might take pain medications or remedial measures to fix his pain?
No, sir.
So you can't say whether he took pain medication. You can't say that he took pain medication before participating in golf.
Objection,
No.
lack of personal knowledge.
I'm not finished with my question. But because you could not see him.
Yes, that's right. Only during the times laid out in the surveillance report was I able to see Mr. Clark.
Okay. Distance-wise, how far were you from when you were spying on Mr. Pardon at his house, outside of his house?
My surveillance post was about 150 yards away.
Okay. So, essentially then a football field and a half.
In elevation, yeah.
Okay. Distance-wise, how far were you away when you were spying on Mr. Pardon at the Hardys?
Closer. Within a block.
Within a block? Is that a city block or?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay, so some blocks are different. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, it's very approximate.
Distance-wise, how far away were you when you spied on Mr. Pardon at the golf course?
I had a clear view of him at all times. My distance varied throughout the day as I just tried to blend in.
Distance-wise, how
But
far
I got
were you?
within 20 feet of him.
You got within 20 feet of him while he was golfing
No, inside the clubhouse.
inside the clubhouse?
Yes.
How far were you away when you were watching him play golf?
Further, maybe 100 yards away.
Okay, so 100 yards. So a football field.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's see. You made a report of your findings, which the defense entered as Exhibit A, correct?
Yes.
When was this report written?
This was written by me. On Sunday, May 23rd, 2011.
Okay. And that's a little less than 4 years after the accident, correct?
I'm
Objection,
sorry?
lack of personal knowledge as to when the accident occurred.
You mentioned earlier that you're not
Wait a minute, can we stipulate that the accident occurred in 2007?
You can represent that to the witness, but otherwise this witness has
Oh,
no
okay.
personal
Okay.
knowledge as to when the accident occurred.
I mean, all I said was
All right. So let's see.
May 23rd, 2011.
So you have that
So
information?
pardon, surveillance, yes.
No, when the
Maybe
surveillance
this is
occurred is
not-
what we're referencing.
Supposed surveillance took place.
Okay.
It doesn't say, I don't have any other, anything to go by but what is in the surveillance report. I viewed him only on these occasions.
So then, let's see here. The date of the accident. So just doing the math, if the date of the accident was in 2007, I believe it was. How many years would that be since you did the report?
Objection, relevance,
It's entirely relevant.
not as to this witness's personal knowledge of what occurred on the 3 days that we're discussing with this witness.
If he's making determinations in his personal knowledge about how a person should react following an injury in playing golf,
then it should be relevant about how long after the recreation occurred post the injury.
Well, then I'd like to represent for the record that the plaintiff is claiming continuing injuries. You can answer the question. If
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, what is the question?
The question
Restate
is,
it.
by doing subtraction, if the accident occurred in 2007, how many years would it have been since that you report in 2011?
I guess this would have been. I don't have any knowledge about his accident or what he's supposedly claiming. I just know that I saw this man who was identified as Sam Pardon, and it would have been 4 years. I guess is the answer to your question.
Okay. Let's see. Let's turn the report then. On May 21st, 2011, could you tell me how Mr. Pardon got into his car before going to the Hardys?
How he got into his car?
Before going to the Hardys.
He let's see what parties on there. Yes, he did. Yes, he walked in without any apparent difficulty.
No. How did he get into his car?
I mean, I described it to me how he got into his car the way a normal person gets into his car.
Okay, but in your report it says, if I remember correctly, then his actions inside of his garage were not visible. So you did not.
No, that's true. Yes,
Okay.
yes. There was the period at the golf course where I would see him get into his car. At his
Okay.
house, it
But
was
you
obscured
did
by
not.
a garage.
Okay. And you said you mentioned earlier that you did not observe any pain while getting in and out of his car, correct?
No, I did not see any other signs of pain.
But earlier you said that you were about a city block away from him.
Yes, sir. It was about 1 city block.
Okay. City block seems far away.
Following
But you'll be
somebody
able
is
to
not
see-
as easy as you can't really get as close as you like. You rely on a camera, and it takes some really accurate pictures that say pictures out of the words. That's why.
But
tells the story.
But it's difficult to see facial expressions from a city block, correct?
Yes.
While Mr. Pardon was at the golf course, you described the twisting of his upper torso. Is that correct?
Yes.
In your report, not necessarily here. Without a medical background, you can't tell us which muscles are in the upper torso, correct?
No, I did not. I did not know anything about the muscular. So obviously, special medical knowledge.
So without a medical background, then you can't tell us what muscles are used in golf.
No, I just can tell you from personal experience that it uses the entire body. I have a practice golf swing. I've had the step used to make us videotape our golf swings and then swing them back.
In your report, you also mentioned that you observed that he was able to put his clubs in his vehicle without apparent difficulty, correct?
Yes.
But earlier you said that you were a football field away from him. Is that correct?
During times it was varied. He was playing golf, so you have long, clear distances unless you're able to see clearly.
But earlier you mentioned it was when he was playing golf about 100 yards, which is a football field.
Yes, I mean you can just walk up to someone hitting a golf ball and
Okay.
whack in the head.
And
spaces.
earlier you said that a city block it's hard to see facial expressions, so it would obviously it would be more difficult to see his facial expressions 100 yards away then, correct? 100
the city
yards
block
is-
is a very approximate thing.
No, I'm saying if you said that a city block was it was hard to see facial expressions, which would be
Yeah, specific facial expressions.
then 100 yards would be even worse because 100 yards is farther away.
Yes, but that's again, it's no, it's more of the movement of his whole body, not his facial expressions.
Okay.
Is what I was.
On the first day in your report, it says that you discontinued spying on Mr. Pardon at noon. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm sorry, which are you referring to again, sir?
The first day. I'm sorry. Friday, May 21st, 2011.
I'm sorry. What was your question?
Did you discontinue spying on Mr. Pardon at noon on the first day, Friday, May 21st?
Yes, and then I saw him arrive at his residence. His actions exiting the vehicle were not observable there in the garage.
So you have no record of anything he did for the next 19 hours?
No further surveillance was necessary.
Okay. On the second and third day, May 22nd and 23rd, you said that Mr. Pardon used a golf cart and did not walk the course, correct?
On which day?
May 22nd and 23rd.
Yes, he walked the course.
On the second day, you mentioned that he was golfing with 3 other men, correct?
Yes.
Did you ever talk to these men in the course of your investigation to see if they saw if they saw Mr. Pardon was experiencing any pain?
No, I did not talk to any of them.
Okay. Would you admit that someone closer up could see pain better than you could on a football field away?
Certainly. Someone very close to him was able to see things that someone
Eh,
from this side was not. That's why we take photographs to be accurate and has in photographs.
Yet you didn't ask the people who were closer.
No, we didn't start an investigation. Once your hand is tipped, that's a very important thing.
Okay. On May 22nd, 2011, you stopped spying on Mr. Pardon at 4 p.m., is that correct?
Yes.
So you have no record of his movements or potential injured spells for the next 15 and a half hours, is that correct?
That is correct.
On the third day, you mentioned that he was also golfing with 3 other men, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you ever talk to these men in the course of your investigation?
I did not.
Would you admit that these men also had a better view of potential injuries?
I wouldn't want to speculate as to what those men knew.
Even though you did just 3 questions ago.
Objection, argumentative.
I mean, I think so. Of course, someone closer is going to see things that someone further away is
Yeah.
blind. That's a relative thing that increases in time and distance.
Mhm.
You should speak up, Jake.
Let's see. On May 23rd, 2011, did you stop? You said that you in your report that you stopped spying on Mr. Pardon at 3 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Why did you stop on that day?
On the last day?
Yeah. Why not go the next day or the next day? And the next day?
Just because we felt that 3 days of continuous golf. I've been a golfer myself, like I said, and to even be able to play 3 days of 18-hole golf, you have to be pretty actually used to using your body and be pretty active. You don't want to just go out from a seminal lifestyle and do that. So it was surprising to me, given the nature of the injuries claimed.
And then one more question. Let's see. So, because of your lack of medical knowledge, you have no knowledge of actual injuries.
No, I don't. I just know golf is hard to play with.
Okay.
Your wrist sprained, let alone anything else.
Have you ever tried to play golf when your wrist was sprained?
No.
So,
I mean,
so-
I've tried to swing a club, so
So-
yeah, I didn't feel that it hurt. It was not impossible to play.
Yet you were, in that case, able to swing the club, correct?
No, not a full
Oh.
positive swing.
Okay. Let's see.
I have a couple follow-up questions, if it's okay. Whenever you're done. Evan.
Oh yeah, I just had one. You mentioned that on May 23rd you observed no signs of pain, discomfort, or restricted movement while golfing. Is that correct?
Yes.
But then you said you were a football field away. Is that correct?
Approximately.
There's no questions. No questions.
Do you want to switch in that spot then for the camera?
Sure.
My photographs speak for themselves.
Make sure you speak up. Got a
Okay.
voice.
Of course. I guess having the camera pointed at you is different.
Appreciate your patience with this. I know it can be trying. Just a couple questions to clarify. When you were hired by ABC to do the investigation, were you given any information regarding Mr. Pardon other than, address, name, general?
Just given that he
likeness?
was claiming an injury against ABC Railroad and to observe his activities if any were observable.
So they notified you that he was claiming an injury?
Yes, I knew that he was supposedly injured.
Did they go into any depth about what type of injury?
I knew it was an injury to the right arm. The neck area.
The right arm and
That
neck?
was my understanding, yes.
Okay. So when you were observing, did you have those specific areas in mind?
Yes, I watched for him this week. Golf swing.
Okay.
I would watch for the hitching.
Okay. On which side of the ball was he swinging?
Which side of the ball?
Well, like which arm? Which was his leading arm?
He was right-handed, so he was swinging like this.
His right hand, so swinging with his left arm was leading?
Yes, his left arm was, yes.
Okay.
That's a good. Yes, he was left-handed.
Left hand?
Yeah. I mean, no, he's right.
No, he's right.
Yeah,
So you're saying, to clarify, he was right-handed,
He's right-handed.
but is swinging with his left arm in the lead?
Yeah, the pig, yes, just as in the photograph.
Okay. Which side of his body was he carrying his back?
That was also on the right arm.
Okay. And
Shoulder.
do you so you didn't have necessarily personal knowledge of the injury, just the knowledge that was given to you by ABC?
Yes, I just knew that he was, supposedly hurt. Oftentimes people are, and you'll sit there and you don't see anyone.
Okay.
For days. Sometimes you do. He happened to go play 3 continuous days of golf.
And do you happen to have, based upon your experience, do you happen to have any ability or knowledge to distinguish between actual injuries or perhaps false injuries or someone who's faking an injury?
No. I took some occupant kinematics classes about how the body moves around vehicles for accident reconstruction school. That's the extent of my medical knowledge.
Well, not medical knowledge, just your past work experience in doing the investigating work. Do you have any idea whether or not the individuals you were observing had actual injuries or maybe falsely identifying injuries? Like, was there any follow-up to any of the previous investigations?
I'm sorry, was there any follow-up to the previous?
Yeah, sorry, that was a complicated question. Let me try to rephrase that. In any of your past investigations, not on Mr. Parton per se, but on other individuals who you were hired to watch and to see whether or not they were exhibiting certain symptoms, did you have any follow-up after any of those investigations of whether or not the injuries that you observed were actual injuries or were perhaps injuries that were not classified as actual injuries, let's say in a court
Did I
of
go
law?
back and check and see if people were faking?
Yeah.
No, we would observe their activity. Really, we don't really. Nothing's reportable, but it is reportable orally, but we back everything up with photographic evidence. We can't just. PR work is mainly in this sense. Is mainly what did you see? Here it is. The photographs.
Okay.
So, and my testimony was more fluid motion. Because golf swing.
Okay, so it's not common practice of you or other investigators you work for to follow up with clients to see
See if
whether
they're hurt later. No.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have any further questions.
I've got a couple of pretty quick.
Sure.
Sorry, 1 second. Mr. Jones, how long is the golf course on which you observed Mr. Parton play golf?
It is a long golf course. It's about 3.7 miles.
Can you speak up for the record?
But it's a long golf course. It's about 3.7 miles. I apologize.
And over the course of 3 days, did you observe Mr. Parton demonstrate any physical signs of pain? I'll represent to you that I'm thinking of perhaps grasping at the injured area,
Objection
moving.
leading.
Yeah.
You're leading.
Okay, I'll restate. I'll restate, don't answer. Over the course of the 3 days, did you observe Mr. Parton exhibit any physical signs of injury?
I did not. No, I did not see any. He did not look like an injured person at all. He left his clubs into a straight band in 1 foot motion. He got them out in 1 foot motion. He played 18 holes of golf, carrying it on his arm.
And what was the temperature? And what was the temperature each day that you observed, Mr. Parton?
It was between 75 and 95 degrees during the course of the day.
All right, I believe those are all the follow-up questions I had. Mr. Jones, would you like to review your deposition and sign it for accuracy?
Yes.
All right. All right, with that, we'll allow you to review the transcript, and court reporter, if you would close the record.
It's closed.
Cool.
Neat.
Let's go get drinks.
We're still recording, guys.